Brethren, shalom, peace of Yahweh El Shaddai, the great creator of the world, the universe. May his peace be upon you. Behold, another Sabbath day, a day of rest. This is a day that Yahweh has made. He said we should rejoice and be happy in it, because he has made it for us. As we sing and praise him, may his name be glorified. Praise to the holiest in the highest. Today our teaching is the dragon, the beast, the goat-like beast, the mark of the beast, and the lamb of Yahweh. Now there are two similar verses I want us to read in the Bible. The first quotation is from the book of Daniel, chapter 10, from verses 5 to 6. He said, "And I looked up, and there before me was a man dressed in linen with a belt of fine gold from Ophir around his waist. His body was like topaz, his face like lightning, his eyes like flaming torches, his arms and legs like the gleam of burnished bronze, and his voice like the sound of a multitude." The message of this quotation is for the future. It was told Daniel that this message is for the future. Then we'll go to the book of Revelation chapter 1. We'll see the same similarity of the person that appeared unto Daniel. From chapter 1, from verse 12 to 16, it says, "I turned around to see the voice that was speaking to me. And when I turned, I saw 7 golden lampstands. And among the lampstands was someone like the Son of Man, dressed in a robe reaching down to his feet, and with a golden sash around his chest. The hair on his head was white like wool, and as white as the snow, and his eyes was like a blazing fire. His feet was like the bronze glowing in a furnace, and his voice was the like of a rushing water. In his right hand he held 7 stars, and coming out of his mouth was a sharp double-edged sword. His face was like the sun shining in all its brilliance." The purpose of this message that was given to John, the island of Patmos, was also for the future. Now, what is the future? The future is what we are reading today. In the book of Daniel, he says his eyes like flaming torches. Then in the book of Revelation, he says his eyes was like blazing fire. In the book of Daniel, he says his body was like topaz, his face like lightning. Are you getting me? His eyes like flaming torches, his arms and legs like the gleam of burnished bronze. Now we all know how burnished bronze look like. Then in the book of Revelation, in the verse, he says his feet was like bronze glowing in a furnace, and his voice was like the sound of rushing waters. Hallelujah. Now, these two messages are for the future. And what are the messages they are giving to us? The revelation of what is going to happen today and what is happening today. If you go to the book of Revelation chapter 12, because a long time many people have been confused about who the Messiah is, how does he look like? The book of Daniel and the book of Revelation chapter 1 clearly give us the express image of who the Son of Man is. If you have any artist around you who can draw, give him those descriptions and let him give out what you think should be the image of the Son of Man that Daniel saw and that John saw. Both of them cannot be wrong. Daniel lived more than 3,000 years before the birth of the Messiah. If both of them have If the revelation of Daniel and the revelation of John, who was with the Messiah, and John, the same John, saw the mystery of the kingdom of heaven, then you should understand that God, Elohim, have mysterious way of working, and he's organized God. He doesn't make mistake. Now let us go to the dragon in the book of Revelation, chapter 12. He said, "A great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and with a crown of 12 stars on her head. She was pregnant and cried out in pain, and was about to give birth. Then another sign appeared in heaven, an enormous red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns on his head. His tail swept the third of the stars out of the sky and flung them to the earth. The dragon stood in front of the woman who was about to give birth, so that it might devour her child the moment he was born. She gave birth to a son, a male child, who will rule the nation with an iron scepter. And her child was snatched up to God, Elohim, and his throne The woman fled in the wilderness to a place prepared by her by Elohim, that she might be taken care of for 1,260 days. This 1,260 days in physical is like for 4 to 5 years, but in spiritual it's years. Who is this woman that was pregnant? The woman we saw here is the nation of Israel as of the time of the Roman Empire. And this dragon, who is this dragon? This dragon is the Roman Empire as at the time of the Israelites, before the birth of the Messiah. Who is the son that she was about to deliver? That is Yahushua, the Savior of the world, the great Messiah, the Emmanuel. The woman have 12 stars, that is the 12 tribes of Israel, which for make it to be the nation of Israel. The woman is clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet. That means she enjoys a lot of favor and blessing from the Most High, and that's the nation of Israel with all the blessings and promises. Now, the enormous red dragon is the Roman Empire as represented by King Herod and the Roman Empire, because King Herod is working under the Roman Empire, which means he represents the Roman Empire in Israel. The seven heads represent the seven kingdoms conquered by the Roman Empire, which started from the Egypt, Assyria, Medo and Persians, Babylon, Greece, Roman Empire, and the Holy Roman Empire that will come after. You see, the Bible gives us a history of what has passed, what is present then, and what will be after then. So the Roman Empire actually was conquered, was the last empire before the Holy Roman Empire, which is today, that gave birth to the Holy Catholic Church, the Roman Catholic Church. The 10 horns represent the 10 great nations on earth today, which the Roman Empire is sitting on top of. Because during the time of the Roman Empire, you have the United Kingdom under them, you have France, you have Germany, you have Spain, you have Italy, Belgium, Greece, Netherlands, Portugal, Russia. All these people were under the Roman Empire. There are also lesser kingdoms that was not mentioned, but also have the great allegiance to the Roman Empire, directly or indirectly. So all these are the 10 kingdoms, the 10 crowns. The 10 horns represent, here the 10 horns represent the 10 countries, the 10 kingdoms which were under the control and authority of the Roman Empire. But the 7 heads represent the kingdom that the Roman Empire has conquered before ascending to the throne of the Roman Empire. Even though the Roman Empire did not conquer them directly, but somebody, maybe Assyria conquered Egypt, Medo and Persia conquered Assyrian, Babylon conquered Medo and Persian, Greece conquered Babylon, before the Roman conquered the Greece and become the empire as of that time. So this is how the revelation came to. He said the tail swept third of the stars of the earth, which means that the dragon controls the third of the earth, which means the Roman Empire was actually controlled 1/3 of the world as of that time. And when I mean 1/3 of the world, I mean 1/3 of the civilized world of that time. Africa was nowhere to be found then, but actually Africa still have its lions under the Roman Empire as of then, because we are still controlled by the Roman Empire. The dragon stood before the woman who was about to give birth, that he may swallow her child. This is the Roman under Herod who tried to kill the Messiah, but you all know how he failed. The child was taken up to the throne of Yahweh. After the persecution of the Messiah, after the crucifixion, he rose from the dead and was taken to heaven, and he ascended to the throne of God. Then came the mystery. The woman fled into the wilderness. The woman is the nation of Israel, because after the death of the Messiah, after he ascended into heaven, in fulfillment of his prophecy which he gave the disciples, that Jerusalem will be destroyed by the Gentiles. In the year AD 70, just say between AD 69 and 70, the emperor then, who was Emperor Nero, sent more than 1.3 million Roman soldiers to destroy Jerusalem and Israel and kill everybody who is a living being among them. This was a great persecution. That was what the Messiah saw when he told his disciples that some of you will not die but will see these things. And most of the apostles saw it happening. And the Messiah gave them a warning: do not flee to the mountains. The mountains then in Israel, if you look at the position of Israel today, the mountain is actually Russia, Europe, Turkey, all those places. No, he said go rather to the wilderness. Where is the wilderness? The wilderness is Africa. That's why the Messiah told them to go. He said go to the wilderness. And in the book of in this prophecy, now we say that he ascended into the woman fled into the wilderness where he has been prepared for protection by Yahweh Elohim. The Israelites ran into Africa. That is actually what it means. In Revelation 12, we hear from verse 13, it says, when the dragon saw that he has been hauled to the earth, he pursued the woman who had given birth to the male child. The woman was given 2 wings. Okay, it's a repetition of what happened again in the previous verses. The woman was given 2 wings and a great eagle so that she might flee to a place prepared to her in the wilderness, where she will be taken care of for a time and half a time. This time and half a time is a synonym. Is not synonym. It's like the portrayal of the time we have now, because the time actually represents 1,000 years. A time again 1,000 years, and half a time, which is 500 years. Which means the woman was given a place was prepared in the wilderness for a time and half a time, which is 2,500 years. That means, if the revelation is correct by my interpretation, which means that Africans will live in Africa for 2,500 years. The Israelites who are in Africa and scattered all over the world will be scattered for 2,500 years after that persecution, before they can be able to reclaim their promised land. Well, it is for a time to tell. But that is my understanding. Then from this mouth, the dragon spat out water like a river to overtake the woman and sweep her away with the torrent. But the earth helped the woman by opening its mouth and swallowed the river that the dragon has spewed out of his mouth. Then the dragon was enraged with the woman, who went out to wage war against the rest of her offspring. We saw what happened during the transatlantic slave trade. These are part of the torrent of river that the dragon spilled out of the mouth to swallow the woman. But he was also not successful, because Yahweh Elohim was with the woman, which means Yahweh is with the children of Israel. In verse 13 now, in Revelation 13, we see another dragon. The dragon stood near by the seashore, and I saw a beast coming out of the sea. It had 10 horns and 7 heads. The other one, it has 7 heads and 10 horns. But now it has 10 horns and 7 heads. With 10 horns, with 10 crowns on his head, and each of the head blasphemous names. The beast I saw resembled a leopard. He had a feet like those who bear and mount like that of a lion. This is the birth of the Holy Roman Empire, which is the birth of the Catholic Church. The Holy Roman Empire got all its power from the Roman Empire, which means the tradition, the culture, everything that the Roman Empire do, including the idol worshipping, was inherited by the Holy Roman Empire and was transcended to the Holy Roman Catholic Church of today, to the Catholic Church, Roman Catholic Church of today. The dragon stood by the sea, coming out of the sea. This is the beast, the birth of the new Roman Empire, which they gave birth to the Roman Catholic Church. It has 10 horns and 7 heads. This is now the situation of the location of Vatican City. The Vatican is sitting on 7 ancient cities, which is the 10 horn. The Vatican is actually sitting on 10 ancient Italian cities, which is the Palatine, the Capitoline, the Aventine, the Caelian, the Esquiline, the Viminal, and the Quirinal. These are the ancient traditional cities of Italy or Rome, and these are where all the Roman emperors come from. Most of the Roman emperors, anyway, come from these cities. And this is where the Vatican is. This is where the Vatican is. This is where the Vatican was built. Is built. That is where the Roman Catholic Church took its origin from. The 10 crowns here represent the same 10 kingdoms of the earth as mentioned above, which means the 10 countries, the 10 most powerful countries on earth, which are, as we mentioned, United Kingdom, France, all those European cities that were great in terms of history and civilization. Now, the blasphemous name on the titles and the position of the Roman Catholic Church today and the Pope, these are the blasphemous names, and they say that it has a blasphemous names and blah blah blah. The beast resemble many animals, which means which means the beast is deceitful, which means the Catholic Church today has different forms and ways which they have actually placed. This including the changing of the Sabbath day to Sunday by saying that since the Messiah rose on the Sunday, which is the first day of the week, that it has means that the church has changed its worship day. Instead of keeping the Sabbath day holy, and they don't start worship on Sunday, which means they indirectly lie and deceived the believers. We have a lot of things, Saint Michael, Saint Angel, all this one portraying the names of the angels of God. Portraying the names of the angels of God to make it look like the holy people that are on earth and that have done what God wants or what Elohim wants. This is actually part of the deception. It speaks in many languages. It has different forms. They said that the dragon that was standing by the sea gave the beast his thrones, powers, even more greater authority than him. And one of the head of the beasts was wounded with fatal wound. This is the break of the papacy that would so happen 600 years. There was no papacy because the French king, under the kings of France and the kings of France, they joined together, and I think there was like there was a break in the papacy, and for 600 years there was no pope. The church was ruled by the king of France. The head of the papacy was moved from Italy, Vatican, to Avignon in France. So this is the wound that was healed. Later on, we saw the rise of the new papacy to what we have today as the new Roman Catholic Church. They say people wander and follow the beast, and directly they worship the dragon who gave the power and authority to the beast, and they also worship the beast. Now, in verse 5 of chapter 13, it says, the beast was given a mouth to utter words and blasphemies, and exercise its authority for 42 months. This is also a mystery. The 42 months here represent the time of the Catholic Church before the birth of the new Pentecostal churches today we have. It opened its mouth to blaspheme God. In those days, the Pope portrayed to be God. They create all kind of laws, all kind of canon laws, all kind of things to show that they are actually in position to change the laws of the Bible written by Messiah, written by Elohim in the stone given to Moses. So these are the blasphemies, and all kind of things was done in the Catholic Church and under the Roman Empire and under the dragon power, which are all linked and in parallel to each other. So not in parallel, sorry, they were in series, because the dragon gave birth to the beast gave birth to the second beast gave birth to the lamb-like beasts. So which means the Roman Empire gave birth to the Holy Roman Empire. Holy Roman Empire gave birth to the Catholic Church, Roman Catholic Church. Roman Catholic Church gave birth to the Pentecostal and Living Churches, which is also today United States of America, because all these Living Churches and Pentecostal churches emanated from the United States of America. You can never see any Living Church that does not have its origin from USA. They have their origin in USA. They have pay allegiance to USA, and in USA today we have more numbers of Living Churches. Unfortunately, Nigeria is overtaking them anyway. Okay, and it says that it caused the inhabitants of the earth, all tribe, language, and people and nation, to worship the dragon and speak blasphemous against Yahweh Elohim, especially those whose names are not written in the book of life. That is, those who don't have perseverance. It was given power to wage war. This happened during the crusade, where thousands of the true believers who don't follow the Roman Empire or the Catholic doctrine were killed in the Inquisition that swept across Europe and the earth and the world as of that time. All the inhabitants of the earth worship the beast that are now faithful, those whose names are written. Now it's here in verse 9 and 10, and it says, this calls for perseverance. Let him have ear, let him hear. You need patience, you need endurance, you need faithfulness to Yahweh, so that you can be able to overcome these things. Verse 11, then I saw a second beast coming out of the sea, coming out of the earth. Now, listen, the first beast we saw and the dragon, they all came out from the sea. But this particular beast came out of the earth. It had 2 horns like a lamb, but spoke like a dragon. It exercised all the authorities of the first beast and on his behalf, and made the earth and its inhabitants to worship the first beast, whose fatal wound has been healed. And it performed great signs, and causing fire to come down from heaven to the earth in the full view of the people. Because of the signs it was given power to perform on behalf of the first beast, it deceived the inhabitants of the earth. It ordered them to set up an image in honor of the beast, who was wounded by the sword and yet lived. The second beast was given power to give birth bread to the image of the first beast, so that the image could speak and cause all who refuse to worship the image to be killed. It also forced all people, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand and on their forehead, so that they could not buy or sell unless they have the mark of the beast, which is the name of the beast, or the number of his name. This call for wisdom. Let the person who has insight calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. The number is 666. Okay, here we saw a second beast that didn't come out of the sea. It came out of the earth, which means it was born on earth. Now, this is the scary part of it, because most people would think that it is blasphemy. Most people would think that it is just tautology. Most people would think that it's not true, but this is the reality. In the Bible, the only people that's being condemned are not only people, but people that are condemned against the Most High are those that worship idols, that give the glory of Yahweh to another image. Now, here we saw that it caused the people on earth to make an image of the beast. Now, if the beast here is the Holy Roman Empire, the image of who are they making? The image of the beast. Somebody represent that beast. That is the image of the person we saw today as the image of the Messiah, or they call him Jesus Christ. Because the image of the person you are seeing today is the image of somebody they call Caesar Borgia, who was the son of the emperor of Rome of then. I think later became an emperor, or never became an emperor. This is the image of the people, the person they call today as the Messiah. And they caused everybody on earth to worship the image of the beast. Now, the image of this beast being Caesar Borgia, that's why I will see the portrait everywhere in the church, especially the Roman Catholic Church. The image, they call him the image of Jesus Christ, a man with a handsome or beautiful long hair that look like more or less like a gay. But while the Bible in the book of Isaiah tells us that he has no beauty nor comeliness that we should desire him. In the book, if you go to the book of Isaiah, I think Isaiah 53, he say, in the book of Isaiah 53, he says, who hath believed our report, and to whom is the arm of Yahweh revealed? For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant, and as a root out of a dry ground. He had no form nor comeliness. And when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him. There is nothing that in him that will make us think that we neglect him. He's a commoner. He's nothing. That's the image of the Messiah. But here they make him to be a beautiful, handsome Italian homosexual with a long hair who cannot even challenge a rat. Not talk about turning around the temples of the Pharisees and publicans who are wicked and aggressive, and turning away, they are chasing him out of the temple of God, Elohim. So now he calls them to make the image of the beast. Now, who is this second beast out of the earth? The second beast out of the earth today is United States of America, in conjunction with what they form, the capitalism, which form also, first of all, United States of America gave birth to Pentecostal and living churches, and out of these Pentecostal and living churches come forth capitalism. Now, in a nutshell, the second beast is United States of America, and he has a lot of branches, a lot of guys to work with. He speaks like a dragon. It has the shape of a lamb, which is gentle, mild, and tender, because the United States was formed under the guise of "In God We Trust." So they believe that by using the word that it is based on this constitution is based on the Bible, people will follow them. Of course, people do follow them. The founders of the United States of America, they are all from Europe. They are either French or German or British or Portuguese or Spanish or Italian or Swiss. Any part of them, all of them came from Europe. This is the 10 crown of the dragon, of the beast. So these are the people that form the United States of America under the auspices and supervision and financing of the Roman Catholic Church through their Jesuit orders. The builders of USA today are the Jesuit order. That is why you see the Capitol Hill have the same image and the same shape and design of St. Peter Basilica in Rome. You can see the obelisk in the Capitol Hill. You can also see the same type of obelisk in the St. Peter Basilica. It is the Catholic Church that financed the George Washington, all of them, to come and build USA. And who is the originator of USA? He's called Thomas Paine. Most people don't know here about Thomas Paine today because people believe that he's an atheist, because he was actually honest in what he was doing, not like George Washington them that was pretending to be holy, but initially they were not holy. So Thomas Paine wrote the theory that formed the Newfoundland. If you go to Canada, to say a place called the Newfoundland. They came to America, conquered America, destroyed the origin, the owners, and the indigens, instilled their own tradition, which they got from Roman Empire, who got it from Roman Church, who got it from Roman Empire, and who got it from the dragon, which is the destroyer. They established America, conquered the land, then they give birth. Presbyterian, Baptist, Methodist, etc. Baptist, Methodist, all these churches are part of or branch of the Holy Roman Empire. They portray that they are not doing what the Roman Catholic Church is doing, but they were doing all that the Roman Catholic Church is doing in another form. That is what the beasts mark them to do. By the time you say you are not doing Roman Empire, but you are worshiping on Sunday, you're using the same Bible that was been translated with the names of Elohim changed. The glory and the divinity of Him changed. The name of the Messiah changed. You don't follow the 10 Commandments as given by Messiah to Moses in the mountain. You start doing the doctrines of the church. You stop offering sacrifices because you think that sacrifice is evil. You stop offering sacrifice and oblation to Yahweh Most High. You stop observing the new moon, the Feast of Tabernacle, the Passover, the Feast of Trumpets. All those feasts that was ordained in the Bible, you stop all those things. Then you give birth to new generation churches of the living churches, or to have today, all kind of churches living scattered all over the world. After that, then come the introduction of the US dollar. The US dollar take over from the gold and silver that was the money that was used in those days. Everywhere in the world, everywhere on earth, gold, silver, and bronze were the money that was used. And that was God's money. And it is still God's money. Because in the heaven, in the street of heaven, after we have left this world, we shall be walking on the gold and silver. We shall be using heavenly currency. But the removal of the gold coin and silver coins and introduction of the paper money, which is the USD, and which also today USD is the base of all world currencies. All the currency on earth today have its origin and its base linked to the United States dollars. That is why the mark of the beast today is the US dollar. In particular, or in general, it is currency, money, capitalism. It is capitalism that gave birth to all the evil we saw on earth today. Even that evil exists in the so-called churches, because today capitalism and the love of money has been the root of all these churches today we call living churches. But they confuse the elect. They confuse the believers. They cause fire, do all kind of weird miracles. They say they even cause fire to come down from heaven and deceive the elect in the sight of all. And the whole much to go after them. And it says, no one buy or sell except you have the mark of the beast on your forehead, which is in your brain. You're thinking about money. When you think about money, it's on your forehead. That's why you think about money. And on your right hand, you use right hand to hold money, to pay, to buy. You receive with right hand, you sell with right hand. So if you don't have the money in your hand, you start thinking about money. Then you forget the glory of the maker of the world. Then you should go back to what the Messiah says. That look at the lilies of the field, that even King Solomon in all his riches and wealth are not arrayed like one of these lilies. Or the birds of the sky, they neither sow nor reap, but yet they are fed daily. He says, seek ye first the kingdom of Yahweh and his righteousness, and every other thing shall be added unto you. Which means we should focus our brain, our mind, on thinking about Elohim. When we think about Elohim, then we'll have everything that we need. So today, we have understand that the mark of the beast is actually with us. We have 66, all of us, but it depends on how you handle it. Because in the book of Revelation also, it says, this is now called for patience. If anyone is going into captivity, he will go into captivity. If you are going to be killed with the sword you will be killed. It calls for patience, endurance, and faithfulness on the part of Yahweh's people. How do we do it? Don't live by the world. Live in the world, but don't live by the world. Let your standard be the standard of the Bible. Today, the same capitalism have introduced science to us. It was the same science that is actually countered the word of God, the word of Elohim, because everything that the Christians do today, the believers actually, whatever they do today, is actually pertaining to science or capitalism. Science and capitalism are the basis of the last beast. That is the basis of 666. And who is the originator of this? The Holy Roman Empire, which is the Roman Catholic Church, followed by the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire is a dragon. The beast that came out of the sea is the Holy Roman Empire and Roman Catholic Church. The beast that came out of the earth that looked like a lamb is United States and all its products. The United States gave birth to science, USA, Pentecostal churches, living churches, capitalism, money, dollars, euros, pounds, naira, all the products of the beasts to control the world. So shine your eye, use your brain. Don't be fooled. The Bible, Yahweh in his word says, heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away. And he said, the people of Israel, he says, this shall be a sign between me and you all generations, that you might know that I am Elohim, who doth healeth you. Go to the book of Exodus. It says from verse 11, from verse 12, and say, and the Yahweh spoke unto Moses, saying, speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, verily my Sabbath they shall keep it, for it is a sign between me and you throughout a generation, that you may know that I am the Lord that sanctify you. You shall keep the Sabbath, therefore, for it is holy unto you. Everyone that defile it shall surely be put to death. For whoever does any work therein, that so shall be cut off from among his people. 6 days may work be done, but 7 days is a Sabbath rest, holy to Yahweh. Whoever does any work on that Sabbath day shall surely be put to death. Therefore, the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath, to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations, for a perpetual covenant. It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. For in 6 days Yahweh made the heaven and the earth, and 7 days he rested and was refreshed. The Sabbath was not given by man to man. It was not given by God to man. Yahweh, because he created us in his image and likeness, told us to observe the Sabbath, because he too, he rests. We must rest to be refreshed. And it's not only the Sabbath law, all the laws of Yahweh, because the Messiah in the book of Matthew chapter 5 says, do not think I have come to destroy the laws and the prophets. I have not come to destroy the laws and the prophets, but I have come to fulfill them. Matthew chapter 5. I think verse 17. Verse 17 says, think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophet. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one title shall not in no wise pass from the Lord till all be fulfilled. And whosoever shall break one and of this least commandment, and shall teach men to do so, he will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach men, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I say unto you, that except your righteousness shall exceed that of the righteousness of the scribes and the Pharisees, you shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Please, my brothers and sisters, think twice and worship God. Worship Elohim in the truthfulness and holiness. For we are all part of the mark of the beast. All of us have the mark of the beast, whether we like it or not. But it depends on how do you live. That calls for wisdom. Wisdom in its own calls for patience, endurance, and faithfulness to Yahweh. That we should trust and live in Him. For in Him we live and move and have our being. Because He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And He can never change. Nobody, no human being can change the laws of Yahweh. And Yahweh Himself can never change. For He is faithful and He shall fulfill all His promises to us. If we keep with endurance and patience and faithfulness to Him and observe all He tells us to do, no matter the trials we are passing through. Trials, suffering, and stress are the salt and pepper of life. If the salt say, oh, I'm too sweet, I don't want to be in the soup, will you eat the soup? If the people say, I'm too hot, I don't want to be in the soup, will you eat the soup? You don't eat food that doesn't have spices. It's either that is salt or pepper or some other spices. Today, suffering are part of life. Enjoy suffering in Yahweh. Enjoy suffering with Yahweh. Observe His laws in suffering. Then you will see that Yahweh will manifest Himself to you, and you shall never lack, and you shall be happy and fulfilled. Shalom. Praise to Yahweh.